I'm back. Welcome to Crystalline Plays. Today I'm going to be talking about what the developers of Paralives have completed so far, and with that being said, that does not mean that it's going to be available for early access. It just means that it is what they have done. However, front and back notes. Let's get started, shall we? For this section, we're only going to be focusing on live mode because it was kind of a lot and I figured I could do a 3-part series. This is part 1 of everything that the creators of Paralives have developed so far. Again, keeping in mind that not everything is going to be available for early access. Let's keep this in mind. Let's begin. Okay, so there's open world. It will load as you get to the location. So you get to a new location, it will load when you get there. It won't just be loaded all at once. I'm assuming this is to make the game run smoother. It is day and night cycles. And you can also control it with the speed and pause button. They have personality traits and it will impact your gameplay. There's also work jobs, which is rabbit holes for school and work. You will also need application points to get a job and to upgrade at some point. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but you do need to upgrade your job with points. The more you upgrade, the more pay you get and I believe other benefits as well. Job content, which I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that means pop-ups and you can interact with the game in some way, shape, or form. Also, some job upgrades will impact their life, such as listening to music while working, which impacts the music knowledge skill. And the music knowledge skill makes the more of the skill you have, the faster that you can level up in instrument skills. So that's pretty cool. There'll also be job and school schedules, which I believe will show up on a calendar at some point. They also have skills. They have music skills. The music skills that they have developed so far is guitar and piano, and they've also developed the music and the animations for it. If you're on Patreon, you saw some of that footage. It's, I believe it's Andre. His name's Andre, the music producer for Paralives. Truly talented. They know what they're doing. They have developed skill progression. What I saw online, it said playing guitar improves music knowledge, and I can only assume that it also will apply for other music skills. So the more music knowledge skill you have, the faster that you level up your instrument skill. So it's like a full circle moment. And the only request and prayer that I have is that it never includes AI art, because AI art looks so uncanny valley. There's not a single thought in my brain that believes that AI could ever replace people for real. I've also developed group interactions, and if you've seen the videos, you can pretty much just like click and drag the group of people that you're with, and then they will do an interaction together. Try to knock the rest of this out before my child finds me again. Oh, they also have developed the ability to make relationship labels. I don't remember exactly what it was. I will find it off camera and I will put on screen what some of those labels were, but it was super cool. Some basic needs, and it also includes an interaction queue, so you can make your para do multiple things, and it'll just put in a queue and they'll do one thing, then the next, and the next. They've also improved the ones, and they've made more balanced gameplay, more emotions, and gameplay around the paras. They didn't include exactly what it was. We're gonna have to wait till release day to find out what some of those are. Personality improvements with time. What does that mean? Couldn't tell you. I'm making so much noise. I hope they include that in the para babies, because babies are always making noise. Also created the ability for houses and objects to catch fire. Also developed the gibberish language that the paras will speak. I think it's called Paralives. They're currently working on this, is all I'm gonna say. They have developed conversations between paras. You can also manage your household members and the household. They've also developed recipes and food. Items can become dirty and they can be clean. This is a bit of an older one, I believe. They have a bunch of videos on their YouTube account. Or they've developed raising children. Characters can get pregnant and have kids. Also developed the ability to die and age up. And from what I heard, there are 8 age groups, which that's kind of insane. That's so many. I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of a lot. But I guess it does make it seem more realistic and less like they go from being babies to children. Some random things that I didn't really know how to categorize, but they've developed, is that they made a censor rectangle for when paras are nude. They've also made a memory system with a dedicated menu, which is kind of similar to what The Sims 3 did, where they had I think it was kind of like a scrapbook or like a memory menu. It was super cool. You could even add your own and it would automatically make them whenever big life events happen, like when the sim got pregnant or when they gave birth or when they got a new job or things like that. So that's super cool. They've also developed lore that will be implemented in the game at some point, I'm assuming. Also developed basic sitting and laying animations, which are super cool for gameplay. And any of the people who love to do storytelling, you could do little storytelling when they're sitting and talking and doing different interactions with one another. I think that would be super cool for those people that like to do gameplay like that. They've also developed a feature where you can mark an object as occupied so that like only one para uses it at a time, which is kind of interesting, and I wonder what that would apply to, maybe like bathrooms or computers. Don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait for early access and development to see what that means. Some things that are currently in progress that they're working on at the moment is more words for the Paro language, which I think that's how you pronounce it. They're working on more live mode sound effects, and I did see that this week on Patreon. It's super cool to see the process. You should definitely pay for it if you want to see more development. It's very interesting. They're currently working on more character animations, and they're working on more interactions for live mode. They're also currently developing a more balanced gameplay. They're also adding new characters into the town. That's what they're working on right now. This is all public information. You can find this on Notion if you want to look for it yourself and double check. And they're also working on specialized character behavior, such as pizza delivery or the mailman, which I think is super interesting. And that is everything that they have developed so far, that they're sharing at least. Of course, there's more secrets and that there's stuff that they don't want to reveal yet because that would kind of ruin the surprise. Yes, I'm also going to briefly cover, this is what they had on their Patreon. This is what they had on their Notion account of what's going to be available during early access. So I'm just going to cover it a little bit. You can also see the video that I made about the things that are going to be available during early access. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll put it right here so you can check it out. I'm just going to cover some other things that I didn't cover in that video because I hadn't quite found their website when I did the research for this video. So some stuff that's going to be available during early access is the ability to phone and online call or chat. It said chat, so interpret that however you want. You're also going to be able to store your leftovers in the fridge. There's going to be a basic gardening system, which I think will be super cool, just to make some extra money. Maybe, I'm assuming you're going to be able to sell. I think it would be super cool if they had like a farmer's market feature or like an event of a farmer's market. I think that'd be super cool. Also going to be live mode tutorials available on early access, so that's super great just to kind of get a feel for the game. There's also going to be game difficulty balance, which I'm assuming maybe depends on how many paras you have in your household and how many pets, things of that nature maybe. We're also going to take player feedback into consideration, which is super cool, which is kind of the whole point of early access, to get feedback and see what they can improve and what they could change. It says there's going to be social events such as weddings and birthdays and town events and activities. That's what it says on the website. Of course, we have to keep in mind that these things can change and probably will change because the deadline is coming up very fast and they may not be able to finish all of these things. It says there's going to be weather and seasons. There will be story progression. I really hate an NPC that has no life. Like you go play them and they got no skills, they got no job, but they somehow have a house. I don't get it. Also be able to own and use bikes. There will be a sexual orientation and preference option that you can choose. Also be a calendar menu with schedules, and I believe this applies for school and work. Okay, that is all that I have for you today about what you can expect at some point after the release of Paralives. If you are enjoying the Paralives content and the updates, please make sure to like and subscribe because I'm going to continue to be making these. You can expect a part 2 and 3 for build mode and the pair maker. Now I gotta go because my kids are causing chaos. Hey. Okay, my cat and the baby are both here watching. Come on. Homie, please stop. You're gonna see my mess.